about CE5 and extraterrestrial contact, download my new book, now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, and 14 other platforms. Book authored by Donald Ledesma. CE5, Frequencies of Contact.
I believe it was 5 separate craft. That's some straight UFO shit right there.
That's when I started seeing all of the lights and the contact that I've been witnessing.
Kept filming and looking up at the sky, and it just started happening more frequently.
Look, what is that? What is that? What was that?
Join your fellow Starseeds, Lightworkers, and Experiencers at the 2024 Full Disclosure Now Conference, this July 15th to 18th. This conference will be a fun and positively life-changing experience for so many. In addition to 4 days and nights of presentations, there will be special event dinners, dancing, fun time on the beach, UFO night watch tours, film screenings, vendors, and more at the lovely Serrata Beach Resort on St. Pete Beach, Florida. Over 34 Montauk Project survivors, Secret Space Program whistleblowers, ET contactees, and psychic healers will be presenting in the name of the Full Disclosure Movement. The truth must be revealed if we're all to achieve our Star Trek future here and now. Get your event passes and book your stay now at fulldisclosuremovement.org.
Hi, I'm Heather McLaren, ESTP ufologist from Scotland, and you're watching In the Strand podcast with Donald Ledesma.
Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Alien Strand Podcast. I'm your host, Don Ledesma, and welcome to today's show. So we are actually live on our audio podcast right now, and we are live on YouTube. So, hey, what better things can you ask for, man? And we're live on X, Twitch, all that good stuff that comes along with it. And I think one of my commercials got stuck here at the beginning. I don't know what happened there, but we'll figure it out. We'll see what happened on that one, but it's okay. It's all right. As long as you guys are watching today, we're going to have a very special guest here today. Her name's Jessica, and we're going to be talking with her about the things that have been happening to her for maybe about since February, I think. Somewhere around there, all right? So she'll explain it to you, but this is it today, Alien Connection, The Visit. She'll be coming on here in just a minute, and hopefully you guys are tuning in so you can hear her stories and everything that she has. We do have a lot of her video evidence, right? We do have a lot of her videos that she started shooting and of UFOs, and I did some analysis on some of her stuff as well. So you're going to see that here today. If you're listening on Audio World, we're going to try to explain to it as best as we can here on Alien Strand Podcast. I'm sure you're watching on Facebook, here on ASDP, and on my personal page. I tried to post something there earlier and they flagged me for, you can't do that, man. It's like you're fishing for people. Well, it's called social media for a reason, right? If you didn't want that, you wouldn't be putting live and all that good stuff, right? It doesn't make sense to me, right? It's like spit in the wind. Hello. So, but anyway, it is what it is. If you guys want to chime, come, you can talk about it. It'll come down right here. You'll see it come down on the screen. You want to ask a question, want to ask me, want to ask Jessica a question, you can do that as well, right? So, it'll be, so we can just kind of talk about her experiences and her one-on-ones that she's having ever since this thing happened to her, as far as the extraterrestrial, the UFOs, and this is what we talk about, man, in the movie The Middle, and I can't stress that more than it is, right, is the film The Middle Part 2, right? This is what happens to a lot of people, and this is how it starts. So you're going to be able to hear actually from somebody else that is actually not in the film, but in another country. So they're up in Canada, right? So we'll get her on in just a second. And let's see if you guys, like I said, have any questions, anything like that. We're going to talk about everything that has to do with what's been happening to her, right? And I hope you caught the podcast of yesterday. I mean, I went through deep analysis on some UFO and alien stuff, and I'll probably show it a little bit of that today, so we can kind of put the two and two together, and you'll see what I did on that as well. Now, out there in Audio World, right now we're live on Spotify, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, all that good stuff, and we're going to get as much information in as possible. Guys, be safe on the road. If you guys are listening, keep your eyes in front of you. If you gotta see UFO, anything like that, pull over where it's safe to do so, and or get somebody else the camera and have them do it from outside the vehicle, not inside. We don't want to see the glass smudges and the bugs, but hey, it is what it is sometimes, right? You can't help that. But like I said, the backstory, she reached out to me because she was a good friend of mine. His name's Don Rogers. He's got his own show on YouTube. Check him out. She was on his show as well. And I said, you know what, just come on and let's just go ahead and talk about it a little bit, right? So, hopefully, we're able to get her going here in just a second. So Jessica, if you're back there, go ahead and pop up on screen so that way we can go ahead and get you going. If you're out there listening, and there we go. Hi, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. Just trying to hang in there with Alien Strand here and giving out as much information to everybody as much as possible. And thank you again for being on the show today. I really appreciate you and being forthcoming on everything that you experienced. Now, so the people who don't know you, can you kind of give us a little backstory, who you are, where where you live, things like that?
I kind of live near like a small airport. Okay. So, a lot of stuff in the sky I kind of just would write off. So a couple of the things that just seemed out of place, I took those. The first UFO that I saw, that one actually was a year ago. The marks started happening in February.
Okay. Was it during the day, during the evening?
Most of them happened overnight. There was one that happened before I went to bed.
Okay.
So I would wake up and then I'd notice them.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Nothing really ever happened. People say, like, owls. If you've seen owls or something like that.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, it was snowing. It was nighttime. There was, like, this much snow.
Wow.
And I remember, and a big owl just, like, came straight for the car and went right over it.
Uh-huh.
And a couple months ago, it happened again, but it was during the day, and my whole entire family was in the car, and its feet, like, hit the top of the car a little.
Wow. Have you ever heard any stories of other people? Because I've noticed this, that a lot of people that once they witness a UFO, they start seeing owls. I don't know if you heard of that before. Have you ever heard of that before? Before that happened?
Yeah, I have. And I've seen it on a couple of shows as well.
Okay.
Resident Alien is really hilarious, but they have a part in there where she doesn't want to believe that she's being taken, but then she just keeps seeing owls.
Okay.
So that's like the earliest thing I can remember that would have been anywhere near this kind of stuff.
You sent me a video of a UFO that you had gotten. It was a daytime shot. I'm going to throw it up on screen here. I don't think it has any sound to it, but can you kind of explain what was actually happening in this video here?
Oh, so that video, I didn't see anything. I just thought I'm going to take a bunch of videos of the sky, and I left them on for a few minutes, and then I thought, okay, let's go see if something happened, and it did.
Wow.
I probably took like a couple videos, and then I just was watching it, and I was like, oh, it looks like something disappeared. So I zoomed in on it, and when you see it,
right?
Oh,
well, yeah, I'm gonna show you the zoomed in version you sent me.
Yeah,
so here's the zoomed in version that you sent me. There it is.
Yeah,
you can see it at the bottom around. There it is, right there.
Yeah, it just disappears.
But what time of day was that when that happened?
We took the kids to the park. Let me see the day I took it.
Yeah, because it's pretty interesting how it goes by. Now, I know a lot of people would probably say, "Oh, that's a balloon or it's whatever," but it's not because what I did was I did some analysis on your video here, right? And this is going to get deeper as we start talking. Okay, so for the people out there that are watching today, thank you for watching. Please click us a like here if you really like what we're doing here. But I'm going to show you the analysis of your video. Now, here it is. Right, this is what I got out of it. Now, right there, you can see it a little bit better. And if you notice, when you zoom in, you can kind of see like a little puff of
a trail,
like a little smoke or something. But this thing does have an electronic magnetic field signature. If you're out here looking at it, like when you're zooming into it, you can see it right there, and then it throws a little.
Yeah, it just disappears and then has like a little puff.
Because if it was a plane or if it was a drone wouldn't have it, right? And if it was a plane, it's going to leave a streak all the way across, right? We know that. And through this analysis is what we started, what I saw was that it's actually showing a electronic magnetic. I'm going to throw it one more time on screen so people can see what we're talking about here. And this is what I got out of the application that I use. And this is a daytime shot. So it's a great video that you got. Now, after you took that video, do you remember anything happening to you as far as like in the home, or did you start getting any kind of changes that were happening in the house?
That video was taken in October.
Okay.
Nothing really happened in the house until the thing on the TV.
Okay.
Or like with my body, it started in February, but it was March that picture appeared on my TV, and then it was just like, okay, what's going on now?
Well, what picture was that? I don't think I grabbed that.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I sent it to you. Can I send it to you now and you can get it right away? Like if I do it on Messenger?
It might. Let me see if I can do it that way. But Yeah. But that's not the only video that you caught. You started catching more videos of these UFOs at night as well, right? Correct?
Mm-hmm. I didn't intend to. I was trying to look for the aurora. This is
So that was on your TV right there.
Yeah, and it's not the only thing.
Wow.
But that thing looks like a profile of a face, so...
Yeah.
This was also on it. I can't find, like, a start or stop of it.
Wow.
Like, if you had a finger or a brush or something.
Right.
I don't see a stop or a start.
It's
hard.
But that happened, what, just one night or what, as far as that on your television set?
I just woke up one day and my daughter said, "Hey, that smudge kind of looks like you." And then we looked at it more closely and it scared me. I took a video of it trying to capture it because it's so reflective.
Right.
And then like a little orb went up in it in about a second.
Wow.
But this part here is the part that really I don't get. So you see how it has like a perfect pattern?
Oh, yeah.
And then like the wings, that smear is me touching it because I didn't know what it was.
Oh, wow.
Then there's a little bit more of it.
So a lot of that started happening after your visuals, right? That's what there it is right there. I could see that right there. Yep.
Yeah.
So
I don't even know what could make that. Certainly not me.
And then
when I took this picture of it, you can probably see the circle there is an orb.
Yep, I do see it. So you did send me some nighttime UFO video, right? And I'm going to show that right now. Do you kind of remember when this happened? It's kind of hard to see out there in video world. But
yeah,
I'm going to show you the analysis of it here in just a second.
Okay.
So yeah, like right there, you can't really see anything. It's kind of hard. It's real tiny. But let me do the other one. So I think this is the zoomed in version of it. So there it is right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you could see the two dots right there kind of moving around. And then I believe you kind of zoom into it as well. And you could see it a little bit better. Was this, did this happen late at night or do you remember?
Yeah, it was probably 10 or so. It was I believe the second day of the aurora was supposed to be able to be seen. And I'm near Vancouver-ish, but more in the mainland part. And they said, like, oh, if you take a picture, you can see it better than if you're just looking at it.
Right.
So I tried that. But then I like that star out there. It's the brightest star that I can see. And so I was looking over there. At first, I thought it was like an airplane just going that way. But it was so much brighter, and I saw it was just going faster than I could.
Right.
And like, if it's over here, the airplanes usually go that way.
Wow. So it's going a different direction.
It was weird that it was going down.
So I did an analysis on that. You haven't seen this yet, but I did analysis on that video, and just watch what you see here. This is called a gold version, and you'll be able to see these things a little bit better. So there they are right there. And you could see how it's
like morphing. Yeah,
it's moving. But they do have electronic magnetic fields around them. You got to see it spinning a little bit. They're right there. You see that?
How can you tell that it's like a magnetic thing?
It's got like a round circle around the actual craft. And once it zooms in, you'll be able to see it. But in other words, whatever this is has some sort of energy around it, right? And then after you started getting a lot of these visuals of these videos, you said that you started getting, like you were taking, I'm going to show this photo here, that you took a photo and you started getting like orbs inside of the actual photo here.
Well, that one is my mom's. I wasn't actually there. She just thought that it was crazy. And she didn't see the face right away because she's like 50. So she sent it to me, and she told me it was a long exposure. But I mean, there's nothing there that can make that face and kind of look like like it looks like kind of an ogre with troll hair.
It's kind of weird. Yeah, it is. It almost looks like it's smiling, right?
Yeah. That video, was on May 12th.
So then after that, you said you started, I guess, waking up with bruising, right? And marks on your body. When did that start happening to you?
Probably just after, I think. Let me try and find the first one because I know the days are on them.
Because I do have some photos that you sent me, and I'm going to throw those up on screen right now. And I'm going to, everybody that's out there, it's photos of like bruising around her arm, leg, and things like that. And then the last photo that you're going to see is actually, I believe, somebody else's, but how they almost look similar to that same mark, right? And this is what you started getting when you were waking up in the morning, correct? You started noticing these things?
Yeah, the first one that I have is on February 11th. That one was the one just before the one on my arm now.
Okay.
And that was, so the big bruise was on the inside of my left thigh, and that is on the outside of my right thigh.
Now, were you feeling any of these bruises? Did you feel any pain or anything like that?
No, every time I touch them, they don't hurt. When I first found that one on my hand, I thought it was a marker. I tried to scrub it off. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, how would I get it on the top of my hand when I didn't have it last night? And I thought, I put a marker on my hand to see if I could rub it off and if it would look similar, and it didn't. And then when it kept happening in the middle of places, you know how it like solidifies stuff, but you still don't want to believe it?
Right. Yeah, because it's like, well, sometimes we wake up with bruises. I mean, we don't think outside of some people don't think outside of the box too much. They're just kind of like, all right, well, I might have hit myself with a table or something might have happened. But you started experiencing like almost, I'm going to say sort of paranormal-ish stuff that was happening to you while you slept, right? So we have some video of, I put it up on screen a week ago, and this was one of the orbs that you got, right, that you sent me, that kind of went by you, by the head part where you're asleep. Now you can see it right there go by, pew, pew, right? It goes by. People think
that one was crazy.
Yeah, people don't think much of it. It's like, oh, well, they're just sleeping and might just been a bug going by, whatever, right? So what I did was I did some analysis on that, just on that particular part, and I sent that to you as well, and I got this out of it, right? This was what was going by, and you can see the face there as you sleep, and then it's actually giving off light as it's going by. You just can't see it. That's how fast these things are, right? Now, for us to try to figure out, are these paranormal or is this extraterrestrial? And this is the hard part, right? To try to figure out exactly what these things are, right? And did any of this ever occur to you that you might be having paranormal things happening to you?
Not really. I noticed, like, I put a camera in my kids' room and we'd look at them every once in a while, and some stuff would go by, but still in denial at that point. You're like, oh, well, the fan's on, maybe it's dust and all that kind of stuff. But some of them ended up being like deliberate, kind of like it just down and up. And
right.
That's why I thought, I'll put a camera in my room and see what happens, because the scariest thing to me is I fell asleep. Normally I'm in the middle. I fell asleep on the outside, and I woke up in the middle again. And with my son, he still co-sleeps with me, right. And so I'm always half sleeping, kind of.
Right.
So I would know if I got up and went over top of him. I didn't roll over him. If I got up to go around him, I'm pretty sure I would have woke up. And so that was like, I'm going to put the camera in my room and see what happens.
Wow.
And yeah.
Wow. So you sent me this video of it's like something that was moving your feet. Let's go ahead and throw that on there right now.
Oh, yeah.
and it looks like it lifts up the cover just a little bit. And it's not your toes, because your toes are kind of pushed down. It looked like your toes are pushed down to the right. But something's actually lifting the blanket up. You could see it right there. Bam, something's picking it up. Almost like, if you think about it, how do we pick up a blanket? We use 3 fingers and just kind of, lift it up, right, with our hands. There's
also a few times where it doesn't look like anything's moving the blanket, but I'll pull my feet away and then an orb will zip by.
Right. Wow.
And I can't explain that part away because it's only moving on this part of the blanket, and you can see my body isn't moving. But when my body does, I pull the blanket. It's not like being pushed.
Wow. And
there was that other one that was like longer, but it's okay. So the first night I put it in, and I was freaking out about it because I saw it touching my foot. And the next night at 3:33, started messing around orbs and stuff. And then at 4:44, it was like just a couple orbs. But because it was 2 sets of angel numbers, if you slow that down by the Litocam part, you can see there's like an orb that goes right by it, an invisible one.
Yeah, I wasn't able to do that. Well, not on this program. I can do it on the other one. I just can't do it on this one.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
But this is a new platform for me to use. But there was another one. There was some movement before your foot, and I think that's what you were talking about. Now, Rosie out there says, I hate to say it, maybe it might be a demon or something, because of your marks and your scratches and things that are happening to you. This does happen to folks that do experience that kind of paranormal deal, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at this here. This is another one. So it looks like the blanket moves a little bit before your foot does, whoever.
And when I slow it down, you can see it pushes before I move my foot.
Yeah, it does.
And if I had moved earlier, like if I were to move my foot for that to happen, you would see my leg pulling the blanket.
Right.
Even just like a tiny little flinch, it will make the picture wiggly. Like you can see it kind of like softens it.
Right.
So when I would slow it down, I would hold it on my phone and slow it right down. And you can see for like a second or two, it just goes before I move.
Now, I noticed that there's a video that you sent me where you wake up in that moment, and it looks like there's an orb that goes by like seconds before you wake up.
That was so weird. There's 2 of those, and that one time I was sleeping and just woke up and looked at it.
Yeah, and that was a strange one because I'm like, wow. I mean, it's like almost like you sensed it before it happened. Were you like, I'm going to show this right now. So here it is right there. And this will take about a second or 2, but you'll see like a little orb go by and you get up right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Right before you pick your head up, it goes right by.
Yep.
And then and it's kind of hard to tell, but it's strange how even in our deepest sleep, these things know how to wake us up, right? It's like almost like you're in and out of consciousness, right? In a sense, to understand what's happening. It's like your body's, you can actually, how do I say? It's like you're connected to that orbs at some place or time, right? Now, before all this stuff started happening to you, as far as the blankets, the orbs, things like that, before the UFOs, did you ever experience anything like this?
No. I mean, I've had nightmares and stuff. I don't really dream much, so the nightmares stick out a lot more. The last dream that I remember that was my favorite was me fell asleep dreaming. I dreamed of another me with my same family, different house. It was super colorful. And then that me fell asleep, and that me woke up in gray with sleep paralysis. Wow. And then the colored me woke up and was freaking out about having a dream and having sleep paralysis. And then I woke up and I was like, what is Russian doll dream? I've never heard of that before.
Wow. It was like, It was like being in 3 different dimensions, huh? Almost.
Yeah, it was really weird.
Right.
Because you go from looking out to being behind to looking out, kind of.
Right.
It's just like back and forth the whole time. It's weird.
It's kind of strange that you say that way, because I watch a lot of these shows that are called Life After Death, things like that, when people pass and then they come back, right? And they say that when they're wherever they're at and they see the trees and everything and this beauty that's happening, they can see at a 360 degrees while they're looking forward. It's like they can see everything in that sense, in that dimension where they're at, right? So it's like what you were talking about right now. You're looking at 3 different dimensions, right, at that moment. And that's got a little similarity to it, to me. It's kind of strange. Really strange.
Yeah.
Have you had any more dreams like that? She got a little one there. Hold on. She got a little one.
Sorry.
Okay.
It made me actually remember the very first nightmare that I had.
Uh-huh.
I was really young. I was like 9 or something. Yeah. And you know how when it would snow and it's quiet and the streetlights are like orange, kind of.
Yeah.
It started out like that, and it was kind of in an old hotel kind of hallway. And so like half of the wall was that paneling, and then the other half was wallpaper.
Wow.
And I was at the end of the hall, so the window was there. So then I looked out the window, and there was a building that was just completely destroyed. It was there was fire everywhere. That contributed to the orange color. And there was a sense of an alien attack. Just a sense, no like talking.
Right. Wow. It's okay. She's kind of pretty much, she's got a little one there, but it's okay. She's got a couple of little ones she's dealing with, but I think she's explaining exactly what happened in that dream, right? So let's read a little bit of the live chats here. It says, let her understand. This is research. Rosie. She says, let her understand. I say that because I have had the same things happen to her. And she goes, now I'm really paying attention. Because a lot of these things are happening between 2:30 and 3 o'clock in the morning. This is a YouTuber. Her name is Rosie. It says, holy cow, I had that same dream. And Sam and I can relate. You know, it's hard to, I mean, when other people are having the same dreams as you, right? They're just explaining right now what they're having. And when you're jumping into different dimensions, I think your mic's still off. So have you had any other things kind of differently happen to you because of that?
I'm not sure, really. Mostly just they would be scary dreams, really.
Wow. So I got one more video that you sent me, and it's you that are you're asleep, right? And you could see something that goes by your face, which is really strange. And then I did some analysis of it, so you can kind of see what's kind of streaking by your face. But let's go ahead and show that. Do you remember? Okay, well, it has the date there, 7/6/2024. This is recent.
Yep.
So right there, if you look right at her nose area, you can see something right there by your eye, and then it almost looks like you twitch, but you don't. And something definitely is around there in that area.
It's the ones that like do these kind of movements, like straight up and down or up and over, and
right.
Those ones are not bugs. Never seen a bug do that and go invisible.
Right. It just cause a zigzag, more of a geometric, kind of trajectory, right? And as we see them in the sky, they do the same thing in on our cameras as orbs, right? So this is the analysis that I kind of broke down on that. I inverted the color, and you could see something go by your face. Bam, right there. So, and as strange as it is, you do have some sort of activity there now. Let me ask you this question. Before all this happened to you or anything like that, have you ever believed in UFOs, aliens, anything like that?
My whole entire life.
You have?
I've grown up watching lots of stuff. I've always thought that it was not... I got in trouble for asking questions.
Oh, okay.
So I stopped asking questions. My teachers would write on my report card, she asked too many questions. And so, I would ask about, well, how come we're the only ones on a planet? You can't create the world in 7 days. Where did these people come from? Where did that go? And then all the... and then I loved to watch ghost shows since I was little, too.
Wow.
So I've always kind of had, like, that background kind of stuff.
Right.
But I always, at the end of the night, can be like, oh, well, maybe it's not real, and then sleep. But it's harder when it's on you.
Right. So yesterday, I'm going to show you this. I don't know if you got to see the podcast yesterday. So I did. There's this video that popped up. It's not yours. It's somebody else's. But I just want to kind of show you the relationship that these beings or extraterrestrials have, right? So there it is right here. Sorry about the noise. So you can see something kind of go down and up. Bam, right there. You see that?
Wow, that's wild.
It's cool, right? I mean, it's like something is beaming or just occurred right there, And
yeah. That's super bright too.
I know it is. And this was caught, and it's not no car going by, anything like that. So I did my analysis on it, right? And I'm going to show you what I did here. So a lot of people out there, I showed this yesterday, and this is what I do. I kind of zoom in, I crop just on that orb, right? And then you start getting you start getting a little bit of a shape there, right? You start seeing something come to life there as you start seeing me work the contrast, the brightness, and the saturation. And then when you do things like this, I always suggest don't put too much sharpness or definition. Add a little bit, but not too much, because then you'll pixelate really bad. So, and this is what I do with my iPhone. I do this with the phone, right? So, and this is what we got, right? This is what I'm showing. This is what popped out of that bright light. It's kind of hard to explain, but there's the before, there's the after.
Yeah.
Before and after. So this is what zoomed up in that bright light, right?
It kind of looks like a face.
It does. It looks like the shape of the extraterrestrial with the big eyes. To me, that's what I got out of it, right? And it's with your story and everything that's happening to you, especially during the day, during the nighttime, everything that you're seeing as far as the UFOs, the crafts that are going by, have you seen any more of these that kind of go by during the daytime, UFOs?
No, I've actually never seen them with my eye. I've only been able to capture them through picture or video.
Wow.
And I would just go after them.
Wow.
Or go on them after.
Well,
a lot of the activity picked up after I was watching Rob's channel, and I decided to try and meditate and stuff. And I've had some weird stuff happen with that, but I never get to see any of the cool stuff. I do all the protection, I do the cleansing and all that kind of stuff, and it doesn't seem to matter.
Yeah, because it's still happening to you, right? I mean, hasn't stopped. It hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
And now let me ask you this question: Does this kind of scare you a little bit, or are you just kind of well, yes and no? Maybe I don't know how to take this.
Yeah, I kind of go through this kind of a cycle. At first, I'm really scared, and then I try to accept it, and then I think, okay, well, I'll do something good with it, and then it's oh well, it's scary. So at first, everything is scary, and then I kind of just have to try to accept it. Other times, if something similar happens, it brings back that feeling of anxiety and stuff.
Right.
So.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it 100%. And it's just something that we have to figure out with ourselves and with you, with yourself too. It's I know some people meditate like you do. Some people do, use spiritual cleansing, things like that, to try to make light of what is happening to you. In other words, you don't mind it being there. Some people don't mind it being there as long as it doesn't mess with you, as long as you're able to control it to where it doesn't pass that limit of actually doing really bodily harm. Of course, you're getting bruising. You just don't know how you're getting it, right? I mean, is that how you feel?
Yeah, but you actually reminded me that it's kind of like affecting my kids too. I have one time heard something say my name. It was kind of like a male robot voice. It didn't have like an inflection or anything, just that tone. It said my name. But my kids have heard it too, and something just yesterday said, beware Maya, and then after that said, beware Logan, but she heard it. And my son has heard random things too, and it's just like, you say stop, you say you're not allowed, leave the kids alone, these guys protect, and then like, you do the salt and the incense and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, well, it just happened yesterday, so obviously, I don't know. She has weird dreams too.
Wow.
One time, this is so weird. I'd listened to Raynetta's podcast. She was talking about an AI spider, and it was like 2 or 3 hours long on Rob's channel. And I had my headset on, and I was cooking dinner. She was nowhere near me. She didn't hear anything. But that night, she had a dream that a giant spider jumped on my face.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, well, okay, that's really like connected, kind of. And she also had a dream where there was a kid in a cage, or there's kids in cages. She wanted to paint, and she was like, I don't know what to paint. So I told her, oh, just paint whatever comes to your mind. And then she just painted like all these brown lines. And I was like, what is this? Why'd you paint this? And she's like, oh, well, that's, the kids are in that cage. They're happy because they get to go out once a day. Wow. And it's like, why is my kid seeing those things?
Right. Wow. Yeah.
There was another time, because she likes to do draw-offs with me, and she'll color them. She made me draw a horse, and I went away to do dishes or something, and I came back, and she had colored the horse blue with red eyes. Wow. And that's the same statue that's at the Denver airport.
Oh, wow. Wow.
They have like this huge evil-looking horse that's on its hind legs, and it's blue, and it's veiny, and it has red eyes. It's creepy.
Wow. I wonder why they would put something like that in the airport. It's just kind of strange.
They put those paintings on there. If you search up the Denver airport, you'll see like these apocalyptic paintings and stuff just on their wall when you walk by.
Wow. Wow. I know you reached out to me because you just didn't know exactly what these things were. And, I'm still trying to figure it out myself because of all the evidence that you've been giving us here. And it's kind of hard to say what it is and what it isn't. Right. And I can't tell you it's this or it's that. It is, to me, kind of leaning more towards extraterrestrial because of as soon as you started seeing these crafts or things that were happening, strange things, then a lot of this started happening right after. And this is what a lot of people experience. Now, are you still getting a lot of activity today?
I don't go outside as much. I film the orbs every night now. I only got it on like the 26th I started. I'm actually a couple days behind because sitting there and watching for all these tiny orbs. Right. I filled albums with all these tiny ones, but I'm going to start only capturing the ones that do loop-de-loops and stuff like that because it's it's overwhelming. Yeah. Sometimes it's just like one that goes like this or one that goes like doop, doop, and there's other ones that just go... Wow. So it's hard because they're all cool, but some are cooler than others, and it takes so much time.
Yeah, it does. It does. And the only advice I can give you is what happens to all of us is that sometimes we get very involved in ufology or what we're doing with the orbs or supernatural, whatever it is. It gets so much in our brains and our minds, we want to figure it out, and it ends up taking over, right? And then it overwhelms you, right, to where a point where you have to back off from it, and kind of live your life. In other words, don't let it take you over, and it's all right to experience it and know what it is, but there's a point where sometimes you have to back off a little bit so that way it knows that you're backing off. Because to me, I feel like sometimes when we push too much towards it reciprocates that the same way, right? And we have to kind of figure out, okay, wait a minute. We have to figure out there's a boundary. Let's put a boundary there, right? To where we can push it away for a little bit and go back to it. Let's figure this out as we go. And that's the best advice that I can give you as far as that, because, some of us do get ill. I'm not talking mentally ill. It's like a fish, gets stretched out. You flip upside down, man. This is what happens to people once they start experiencing these things. And I just hope this gets better for you.
Yeah, thanks. I'm kind of in the middle point of if it's like an evidence-based thing. Like, now I can just capture evidence for other people. Right. I mean, it's hard when things are crazy and they don't want to believe you. But if I can, I think I should help out. Like, I don't want to. How many people don't know that I've had these bruises, right? And how many people want to say, oh, well, it's this, or it's this, or it's this. And it's like, well, these are deliberate. They're on my body. Come whenever they want. And I would rather people know about it. What if there's somebody else, that's also experiencing those kind? Like, you showed me the ones with the dots in them. I'd never seen that before. Wow.
And sometimes, people just need to see that, because I showed this last night too, right? Bam. This is inside of an orb. Yeah. What do you see?
That's a whole face.
Exactly. And this is what we see inside of some orbs at times, to where it's just mind-boggling, right? Or you're just trying to figure out, okay, what the heck is that? But you can't see that until you break it down with your analysis on your phone's colors, things like that, contrast, use these applications to do it, right? And I want to thank you today for being on the show today, and I know you try to help people as well, correct? I mean, with their stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
Wow.
It's nice to I don't know what the word is, but I'm not sure the word. It's kind of like, no, I can't think of the word.
Well, it's just like helping somebody else trying to figure out the same thing you're going through.
Yeah, and if I kept it to myself, it kind of eats away at you if you don't share it.
Right.
And it's like you don't know who to talk to, because even though you can, if you have a good relationship with your family and all that kind of stuff, you could tell them, but if they're not immersed in it, then they will never understand. At least I don't know. It's like you tell them and they tune out.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't want to know. They tend to do that. They just don't want to know, because it's not that they're afraid. It's just that they don't understand. Right? Because you have to have the understanding first in order to go forward. Right? And once you start understanding what you're seeing, well, then you start going forward and moving a little bit towards, okay, let's figure this out. This is called disclosure. We're disclosing things that are happening.
Yeah, I'd rather provide evidence, at least, if it's going to keep happening. I mean, I'm just kind of stuck at that point, right? Where it's like, I don't want it to happen to me anymore, but if it's gonna, I should at least document it. Mm-hmm. So I try to make it go away, but, if it won't listen, I gotta at least capture it, right?
Exactly.
So people know.
Exactly. And thank you for showing the evidence and capturing everything that you have. Now, people can find you on Facebook, right? And things like that if they want to reach out to you later?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty much Shiba Inu on, well, obviously Rumble. I do have an Instagram. It's the same thing.
Okay.
And then the Facebook, yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll throw some links on so that way people can follow you on there. I just want to thank you today for being on the show and explaining to people exactly what happened to you and what's been happening to you. And hopefully later we can figure out all of this together as everybody kind of goes. We all work together.
I appreciate you listening to me and thinking it's even worth it.
Yeah, I love to listen to people's, everything that happens to them, and we try to find a solution, right? And that's what we're here to work together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and you gave a lot of people a lot of information, and things that were happening to you, which is it's great for people to know and know the person behind the pictures as well. All right. Well, you have yourselves a good day, and then we'll talk to you here in a little bit. I'm going to close out the show.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good one. All right, guys. I hope you guys get some information out of that. And, it's a great show. It shows you that people do go through these things, and they, to explain it is the hardest part, right? To explain everything that is happening to you. And then to show it on photos and videos and everything out there is the proof, right? And what I talked about yesterday is these scientists, majority of these scientists out there, Weinstein, Degrassi, everybody, they want physical evidence, right? This is it right here. We get it in photos, videos, pictures, witness testimonials, things like that, right? To try to get all the information on what's happening to you, whether it's supernatural, demonic, extraterrestrial. At least we got an idea where to start, right? And it takes brave people like her and other folks to come on shows like this and other shows to learn and understand what disclosure really is, right? Because that's what it is. It is disclosure, if you really think about it. But thank you guys for watching today. I really appreciate all of you. Rosie had to go, but that's okay. Mark Stockton, I appreciate you, brother. Everything came out there. I was watching that. Thank you for chiming in. And it was my absolute pleasure of getting everything on there. And we have, let's see, God bless out there on Twitch. All right, man. I appreciate everybody that's watching today on Twitch, Rumble, everywhere. I hope you enjoy this show. If you're watching on Rumble, give me a follow, please. On Facebook and, YouTube. All those good channels, we have them out there. I couldn't ask for anything better. Like I said, a lot of this stuff will slow down a little bit, but we're going to try to get as much information out to you guys as much as possible. All right. But until then, it was my absolute pleasure. We are live on audio right now. And you can find us on Spreaker. After this, will be on Spotify, iHeartRadio, all those good things. Click on all my links. It's on the very below, and it'll give you everything to our social media pages, our movies, books, all that good stuff that's on there. And, you can find us on all those pages, man, because that's what it is. It's about disclosure. All right. But until then, you guys have yourselves a good day. Have yourselves a good evening, and have yourselves a good night. We'll see you on the next one. Alien Strand Podcast. Don't forget, click a like.